Hello, Rebecca here. Thanks for joining me in this yoga practice today. Today, we'll be working on hips. So I find a lot of my students kind of get frustrated with hips. They want them to be more flexible. And the seed I would like to plant for you today is the hips are one of the most stable joints in the body. They are meant to be strong and stable to hold us up so that we can walk and move around, so that we can hinge at our hips. It literally is kind of like that center um, point of the body where it's like top side or top of the torso being able to hinge, the legs being able to move forward and back and to the sides. There is literally a union that happens in the hips between the top half of the body, the lower half of the body, the right and the left-hand side. So we're just going to focus on flexibility and strength. So in other words, mobility in the hips today. Let's just begin in a comfortable seat. You could prop up on a block if you'd like. Relax your arms down along your sides. We're going to start with just 3 rounds of breath. Inhale, arms rise. And then exhale, just pressing the palms through center, grounding, and allowing ourselves to come into our bodies. You can keep the eyes open or closed for this. Inhale, arms rise. And then exhale, grounding, pressing the palms down, coming into our bodies. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. So start to get some movement into our spine. We will roll back, chin toward chest, tucking the tailbone. It's a little seated cat-cow. And then let the shoulders pull back, so the tailbone backs off into your throat. And a couple more times. Forward and back. Neutral spine, take a gentle twist to the right. And take a gentle twist to the left. And back through center, side bending over to the right. And then over to the left. And back to center. We're going to find a windshield wiper shape with our legs. So either side, right leg or left leg, is going to go toward the back, and then the front leg is just slightly running parallel. We'll begin with our hands behind our backs, and we will just windshield wiper the knees side to side. Next time your knees come over to the right, hold it here. Take your hands off to the side, slightly hinging over that right leg. Press into left knee and just begin to lift and lower the lower left leg, grounding through the knee. We're going to do that 5 more times. And then release. Take the knees over to the other side. Hands come slightly forward and got slight hinge in the torso, pressing into right knee and then lifting and lowering right lower leg. Just trying to isolate this movement in the hips. And we're going to do this for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to continue windshield wipering, but maybe this time without the hands. Now, if you need the support of the hands, bring the hands back behind you. Otherwise, you could bring hands to heart. And we're just going to be dropping those knees side to side. And we'll start to make this movement a little bit more dynamic. Next time we come up to the right, option to do a little hip thrust, pressing into the knees and the shins, letting the hips come forward, squeezing the glutes, and then bring the hips down and take them over to the left. Move at your own pace. If you need to use your hands to do the hip thrust, use your hands. You just stay low and don't come high, that is okay as well. All right, we're gonna add on, making this a little bit more dynamic. If you would like, taking the legs forward and then bringing them down. So now not only are we working on hip extensors, we also start to incorporate the hip flexors. One more time on the left. And then come down. We're going to find a figure 4. Right ankle crosses over left knee. Hands come behind so they can support our spine. Keep right foot flexed and active. And then we're going to drop right foot over to the left and then the knee to the other side. One more time on each side. Bring it back to center. So try to find as much compression as you can between the thigh and the rib. So trying to draw ribs and thigh closer toward one another, lifting up and out of your back. So keep it nice and long, otherwise not slouching. I'm pausing here. Breathe. Keeping that right foot active. Then we're going to take a twist, right hand to the sole of right foot, twisting to the left. Now, if you wanted to take this a little bit deeper, you could try bringing your forearm onto there, your elbow onto there, onto the bottom of the foot. And unwind and release. We're going to change the cross. Left ankle crosses over right knee. Hands behind the back, sitting up tall. And then we're going to drop that foot over to the side and then the knee. Coming back to center, left foot is active. And then we play with compression of drawing ribs toward thighs, thighs toward ribs, sitting up tall. Take a couple of deep breaths. Left hand to the sole of left foot and we twist to the right. Option to take forearm or elbow or maybe even tricep to the bottom of the foot. Now meeting yourself wherever you're at in flexibility and strength. And then gently unwind. We're going to come forward to all fours, tabletop pose. Wrists coming underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips. And then we're just going to stretch out the side bodies by dropping the hips over to the side. Letting the hips be heavy, just dropping them side to side. If you want to take this more deeply into the obliques, you could tuck the toes, lift the hips, and do this from a bear pose. Obliques, as well as just your transverse abdominis. Time on the right, one more time on the left. And then come back through tabletop. Let's just take a cat-cow here to neutralize out our spines, rounding, and then finding that back bend. Neutral spine. We're going to do some hip circles here. So we're going to press into left knee and right hand, kind of counterbalancing from the right side to the left side. We're going to lift that right leg, and then we're going to draw it back into what would look like a little kick, and then take the knee down. And then we take it out to the side, slow, 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 and then taking it into that back kick, and then bring it down. One more time in this direction. And then we're going to reverse it. Take it back into the kick, out to the side, and then down. Two more times. Slow, slow, slow. And then drawing right knee towards your nose, we're going to cross right foot or right leg, I'm sorry, over left. Send your hips back, reach your arms forward for a little cross-legged child's pose. And then coming back through tabletop, uncross the legs, and here we go, other side. I'm going to switch my position so you can see me. We're going to lift left leg out to the side, slow, 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 take it back into that kick, and then bring the knee down. 2 more times moving in this direction. Last one. And then we reverse it, kick it back, open it out to the side, and bring it down. 2 more. And then we're going to draw that left knee into our nose, and we are going to cross left leg over right, sending the hips back for a cross-legged child's pose. And then uncross, come back through your tabletop and press back, downward facing dog. Pedal out your heels, maybe sway your hips or roll it side to side, forward and back. Find a moment of stillness for the inhale and the exhale. Gazing to the top of your mat, travel forward, forward fold. Take a ragdoll here, grabbing hold of opposite elbow, maybe swaying side to side or shaking your head, yes and no. And then inhale, half lift, lengthen through the spine. Exhale to fold. And then inhale, rise to mountain pose. Arms reach up overhead. Let's find little goalpost cactus arms. Squeezing the scapula onto our backs, lifting through our sternums, lifting our gaze. And then start to straighten the arms, take them behind your back, interlace them, chest expansion. And soft bend in the knees, fold forward. Just breathing into feeling sensation, into the stretch. Rather than wondering if you're doing it right, notice how it feels. Releasing the hands, inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, plank pose. Shoulders over wrists, toes are tucked, heels are pressing away from the top of the head. And find just a slight tuck in the tailbone. Imagine that there is a candle underneath your navel, and you don't want to drop the navel so you don't get burned. And then either knees lifted or knees down, gaze forward, shift the weight forward, coming down chaturanga to low or high cobra. And then exhale, press it back, downward facing dog. Right leg lifts high. And then draw your knee to your nose. Figure 4, down dog. Right ankle crosses over left knee. Press that right knee back. Try to keep the hips even. The right hip is going to want to drop, so keep it lifted. And then draw your knee to your nose. And figure 4 back, or figure 4 down dog. One more time, knee to nose. Figure 4 down dog. This time we're going to bring left knee down for a figure 4 child's pose. Keep that right foot active as you press that left hip back toward left heel, reaching the hands forward. And coming back through our figure 4 table to down dog, and then uncross the leg. Inhale the leg high. Exhale, step it wide, pinky edge side of right foot, twist it out, reaching right arm up toward the sky. And then right hand comes inside of right foot, straighten both the legs for a wide, long stance pyramid pose. You could bring blocks underneath your hands if they don't easily reach. Option also to press into your right heel and flex your toes up toward your shin. Right toes come down, left foot comes and steps wide. We're going to come into a high squat, so hips a little bit higher than the knees. Hands toward heart, rolling the shoulders back. And then inhale, rise. Exhale, come back into your high squat. Hands come in, down to the mat, step left foot back, step right foot back, press back, down dog. Roll forward, plank pose. Chaturanga push-up, so gaze forward, bring the weight forward, come down halfway, press back up, bring the knees down, press back, child's pose. And then slowly we're going to bring it through to an upward facing dog. And press back, down dog. Left leg lifts high. Draw your knee to your nose. And then left ankle crosses over right knee, figure four, down dog. We're going to draw the knee to the nose and cross ankle over knee, figure four, down dog. One more time, knee to nose. Ankle crosses over knee, lifting the hips high. Press that left knee back. Left hip might want to drop, so try to keep it even. Reaching, stretching your sits bones, so those bony points of the pelvis away from your fingertips. And then bring right knee down to your mat. And press right glute back toward right heel, figure four, child's pose. Bringing it forward through our tabletop. Figure four, down dog. And then uncross. Left leg lifts high. Left foot steps out wide to the pinky edge side of your hand. Right palm grounds, left arm reaches up toward the sky. And then left hand comes inside of left foot. Send the hips high, straighten through the legs. Press back through right heel. Press into left heel and lift the toes if you want a deeper stretch here for our pyramid variation. And then gazing forward, bring those left toes down. Step right foot forward and wide. Keep the hips a little bit above your knees. Hands to heart, high squat. And then inhale, rise. Exhale, bring it back down. Hands come down. Right foot steps back. Left foot steps back. Down dog. Rolling forward plank. Gaze forward, shift the weight forward. Chaturanga push-up. Come down halfway. If you need to bring the knees down, bring the knees down. And then press back. Child's pose. Slowly waving it through, coming into a upward facing dog, rolling shoulders back. And press back, downward facing dog. Right leg lifts. Right knee to nose. Figure four, down dog. Right ankle crosses over left knee. And then bring your knee to your nose. Step that right foot out wide. Lunge, twist. Right hand comes down inside of the foot. Pyramid variation here. Pressing into the heel, flexing the toes. towards your shin. And then step left foot forward, high squat. Inhale, rise to standing. Exhale, bring it down. Hands come down. Left foot steps back, right foot steps back. Downward facing dog. Roll forward plank. Chaturanga push-up, come down halfway. Press it back up, knees come down. Child's pose. Transitioning to our upward facing dog. And pressing back, downward facing. Second side, left leg lifts. Left knee to nose. Left ankle crosses over right knee. Figure 4 down dog. Knee to nose and then step that left foot out wide. Twist it out. Left hand comes inside of left foot. Straighten the legs, pyramid variation. Press into left heel. Flex the toes towards your shin. And then those toes come down, right foot steps forward and wide, high squat. Inhale, rise. Exhale, sink it low. Hands come down, right foot steps back, left foot steps back, down dog. Roll it forward plank. Come down halfway, press it back up. Knees come down, child's pose. And then shifting the weight forward, coming into an upward facing dog. And press it back, downward facing. Right leg lifts. Right knee to nose. Right ankle crosses over left knee, figure 4 down dog. And then start to walk your hands to the back of your mat. So figure 4 fold. And of course, if this isn't working for you, you can cross right ankle over left ankle, or you can simply be in a forward fold here at the back of your mat. And then option 2, play with a little figure 4 toe squat, starting to send that left hip towards your heel. Coming onto your toes, heel lifted. And then maybe you start to play with some balance here. This is a humbling one. Maybe you can get one hand to heart. Maybe you could get 2 hands to heart for a breath or a few seconds. Then we're going to come back into our fold. And then slowly rising, still in our figure 4. And coming into the balance of figure 4. Keep pressing that right knee down toward the floor, even hips, heart and head lifted. And then you can deepen into this stretch by sinking the hips back and down a little bit further. You could reach your hands down toward the floor to blocks. If flying pigeon is in your practice, you could play with flying pigeon. Let's all just take 3 breaths wherever we're at. And then slowly rise and release. Uncross the legs, shake it out. And then hinge forward, walk your hands forward, downward facing dog. Left leg lifts. Draw left knee into your nose, and then left ankle crosses over right knee, figure 4 down dog. And start walking your hands toward the back of your mat, coming into a figure 4 fold. Modify as needed here. Coming into our figure 4 toe squat or a toe squat. Both heels or both toes would be grounded, both heels would be lifted. So right glute is resting on top of right heel. Maybe you're again playing with a little balance. One hand to heart or both hands to heart. I don't practice this one very often, but it's fun when I do. And then let it go. Coming back into our fold, rising to standing, keeping the cross here if you can. You have to move forward. And then coming into the balance of figure four, one-legged chair pose, bending the knees, sending the hips back and down, keeping the spine long. And maybe you reach the hands down toward the floor. Maybe you've got a flying pigeon in your practice. 3 deep breaths. And then rise, uncross the leg, shake and shimmy, let it go. And fold forward. Walk your hands forward, downward facing dog. Roll forward, plank. And then lower it all the way down onto your belly. We're going to come into open wing or scorpion pose here. Right arm reaches directly out, or the hand reaches directly out from your shoulder. Palm is pressing down. And then we're going to bend into that left knee. We're going to roll onto our right side. It's a little shoulder opener. And then from here, big transition. We're going to rise up, facing the back of our mats. Wild thing. Pressing into right heel, lifting the hips. You might even play here with lifting left heel, pressing into the toes, hips lift. Heart opens. And then big transition here to pigeon pose. We're going to come through a plank to the top of our mat. Left knee comes to left wrist. Right leg lengthens back. Squaring hips and shoulders forward, eventually folding forward. And begin to rise, walking the hands back towards your hips, tuck right toes, lift right knee, and then let's send that left leg back and high. Do a little hip opener here. You can either do it straight leg, taking those left toes over to the right hand side, or you can bend the knee and drop the heel towards your butt. And then bring it back. Rolling forward, plank pose. Slow lower onto your belly. Here we go, other side. So left hand moves directly out from left shoulder, palm pressing down, rolling onto left hand side, right knee bends, right toes come to press onto the left side of your space. Rising up to a seat, facing the back of our mat, keeping that left knee bent, right leg long, taking a little wild thing here, if you would like. Pressing into right toes this time, right heel lifts. And again, big transition here into pigeon pose. So we're going to bring that left hand down, right knee comes toward right wrist, sending left leg back, hips square forward, shoulder square forward, and then hinge and fold. Slowly rise, walking your hands back towards your hips, tuck left toes, lift left knee. And we're going to take that right leg back and high, opening through the hip here. They're either straight leg or knee bent. Maybe playing with both. And then bring right leg down. Come down to your knees. We're going to send the hips over to the side, the feet toward top of our mat. And then slow lower, coming onto your backs. Hug your knees into your chest. Happy baby. Sending the knees wide, soles of the feet up toward the ceiling. It should feel pretty nice in the hips and to have the back supported here. Maybe you play with extending the legs, maybe even a full straddle. And then we'll transition into our final rest post, Shavasana. Now this could be extended legs or option to take sleeping butterfly. Knees wide, soles of the feet pressing together, maybe even bringing one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly. And thanking yourself for showing up today, for moving into your hips and loving your hips, loving them for the stability that they offer you, for this union that they create from the right side to the left side, from the top half of the body to the bottom half of the body. Hands to the outsides of the knees, gently draw them together. Take a full body stretch. Rolling onto right side or left side, making your way up to a seat. Bringing hands to heart center. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Hope to see you again. Ariom Tat Sat.